Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and we have some breaking news from CNBC. House approves impeachment inquiry into President Biden as Republicans rally behind investigation. So things are starting to get very interesting, and as we've always said here on the BuzWeaver channel, it's going to get very, very wild in 2024, and I think maybe the Establishment Uni-party and Democrats are starting to see the writing on the wall, particularly after CNN conducted a poll recently that showed Donald Trump leading Joe Biden in Michigan and even here in Georgia. Very key and important swing states. So maybe the establishment is sweating it out. But as I've always maintained, and I'll repeat it again, the Establishment Uni-party and the Democrats and all their cohorts and ilk are not done yet. They're saving those salvos for the last minute, but pieces are moving on the board, and we'll just have to see where this is going to go. The House on Wednesday authorized the impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden, with every Republican rallying behind the politically charged process despite lingering concerns among some in the party, that would be the establishment assets, that the investigation has yet to produce evidence of misconduct by the president. Now, I find that phrasing interesting because right now the Democrats are operating very much like a Russian Chief Security Council member Lavrentiy Beria, who says, "Show me the man and I'll find you the crime." And that is the way that the Democrats have been handling this situation, or things involving Donald Trump or their political rivals, which is very interesting because you may have seen, and we'll cover this probably tomorrow, U.S. judge pauses Trump 2020 election case while he appeals immunity ruling. Huge barrier for Tanya Chutkan right now. So interesting because, of course, we have Supreme Court will consider special counsel's request to rule on Trump's immunity in January 6th. And as we have always talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel since then, the Senate said that Donald Trump was not involved in January 6th. Yet they continued on. They continued to press on because they operate from a position that people are dumb, people are lazy, they aren't going to look it up. They aren't going to read the information for themselves. And, of course, the mainstream media and legacy media controls the narrative. And so, obviously, they're going to continue on that narrative. They're never going to explain to anyone, much less be fair and balanced to anyone, to give them the entirety of the news. They're only going to give selected, hand-picked news about Donald Trump because they could easily come out and re-explain and emphasize that the Senate had ruled that Donald Trump was not responsible or didn't have any responsibilities in January 6th, as well as the FBI saying that there was no coordinated effort. But of course, the media being the media, they just aren't. The 220-212 party line vote put the entire House Republicans conference on record in support of an impeachment process that could lead to the ultimate penalty for a president, punishment for what the Constitution describes as high crimes and misdemeanors, which can lead to removal from office if convicted in a Senate trial. So hard to say how far that's going to go, to be honest with you. And we're in this vicious cycle. First it started with Donald Trump, and now it's starting with Joe Biden. And it's a demonstration of how in the background the Establishment Uni-party operates. It's kind of like a Hegelian dialectic where the government creates problems that they perceive that they are the only ones that can solve. Or if there is a problem, they have to look as though they can handle it, because government is confidence. If suddenly, well, it should be the people, by the people the whole time, but if the people start to question their government, that's going to be a huge problem for the establishment. And Americans have become complacent and have allowed the government to just deal with things. You're the government, you handle it. You're in charge of law enforcement. You're in charge of how things are supposed to go. You deal with it, make sure everything's fair. But the government doesn't make sure it's fair because they're looking out for their own interest. And so the establishment ensconced itself, some say as early as the 1900s, once the banking institutions and others became part of that, the Federal Reserve and all those kind of things started emerging, because when the Founding Fathers started our country, created our country, the government was supposed to do just three things. Three things. One, create law. Two, enforce law. And three, protect the country from enemies, foreign and domestic. And now today we have hundreds of agencies and tens of thousands of federal employees. And it's just one big mess. It's one big mess. And here we are in yet another cycle where another president is potentially going to be impeached. Now, that's not some sort of defense from me about Joe Biden, because Joe Biden has his own issues. I think a lot of the politicians, they're there in D.C. where all the information flows. They know a lot of information. They know a lot of classified information. They know a lot of important information. They know things that are going to happen before we as the general public know they're going to happen, which is why they get in trouble with when it comes to investments and stocks and all these sorts of things. They're kind of aware of where businesses are going to have to go based upon policies and measures and things are going to. Anyway, suffice it to say, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to get your thoughts down in the comment section. What sort of wild ride do you think we're going to be on in 2024 if this is going to happen? And let me ask you this. Do you think the Establishment Uni-party surrogate, Joe Biden, is going to be the candidate in 2024? Because, things are getting interesting right now. And with what's happening here with this going to the Supreme Court and the judge pauses for immunity for Trump, they're seeing it. They're seeing it. They're seeing the CNN polls where he's crushing it in Michigan and doing very well here in Georgia as well. And these are two very key states they need. And, of course, starting next year, we're going to have the Iowa caucus, the Hawkeye caucus, where he is most likely going to win most of the states, if not all the states. And it's going to be an interesting ride. And this is amazing breaking news. Like I said, I don't know how far it's going to go. I don't think they'll remove Biden in this manner, but it's interesting to see the chess pieces that are being moved here and how the Establishment Uni-party is reacting. But love to get your thoughts down in the comments. But I want to thank all you guys across New Tech as well as here on YouTube for your guys' continued support this entire year. It's been quite amazing, your guys' support, especially when the channel was demonetized, and then we went through that weird phase where myself and many, many, many creators weren't getting any subscribers at all, zero. I think that YouTube was doing one of those silent purges they do in the background where they get rid of a lot of accounts, so forth, or inactive accounts and so forth. But it's been an amazing year, and you guys have been an amazing part of it. But thank you guys for your continued support and appearing there on the screen. That would be the channel icon you guys can click on if you're watching this on YouTube to subscribe. And, of course, if you're watching across any platform, by all means, subscribe and feel free to share. And then you can select the notifications on YouTube to get when we are, so you'll know when I've uploaded additional information to include shorts. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.